When you work with elite athletes, most of the time they're coming to you and asking you for one thing. Most elite athletes are aware that when they play their best, they actually get into a state called flow states. Now, the flow state experience is really quite a mystical kind of spiritual type of experience. What happens in the flow state, the conscious mind shuts down. There is no real thoughts. And when that happens, the unconscious mind takes over. And in the unconscious, there is a kind of magic that occurs when people become more unconscious and allow the training to take over. Athletes are aware of this. And really, most athletes come to me and say, well, I know when I get into a flow state, or the zone as they call it, I play extraordinarily well. So how do I get into that state is the thing that they often ask about. How do I control it? Well, flow states are very similar to meditative states that you may experience in yoga, states that you may experience by listening to music or playing music. It's a state where you're completely absorbed in the moment and in what you're actually trying to do. You have clarity, you have clear goals, you lose self-consciousness, you're not aware really of yourself. You're so absorbed about what you've got to do and how you're going to do it. You're not really aware of any barriers or limitations, and usually your self-talk kind of shuts down because it's synonymous with brainwave patterns that are very similar to when you go to sleep or you're just waking up or in the dream state. Often athletes talk to me about this, and they sometimes have an out-of-body experience. They can almost see themselves performing, and in this state of mind, sometimes time kind of slows down. They have this perception of time where they just know what's going to happen next. They have an awareness. They're highly intuitive. They just know where they need to be on a football pitch or on a basketball court. They know when they've got to shoot, and they also become aware that they are going to do something extraordinarily. I had a great conversation some years ago with the great Argentinian footballer Batistuta, and he told me when he played his best football, he would go into a state of mind similar to that of a child. When he was a very young man, he would just run around and score goals for fun, he said. And as he's got older, he became more cognitive and more conscious of what he was doing. And obviously you get coaching, and that can also be an interference. But he used to say when he was focusing on what the coaches were asking him to do, he would actually always feel like he was one step behind the defenders. However, when he used to go into this childlike state where he felt like anything could happen, this magical state of pure potential, then he would actually score goals for fun, he said. He always felt he was one step in front of the defenders then, and goal scoring became easy. And this is what elite performers always talk about. I played basketball for many years, and I had these experiences on many occasions, and this is what really led me into performance psychology. All my work in performance psychology is all about flow states and how to get in them. So I found that some of the easiest ways to do that is to use music as an intervention. So I use music in my interventions with athletes. Getting them into the right emotions is really important, and music can do that. Positive emotions induce these flow states. So this is really important if you're working with athletes or with business people, because you need to understand that business people can also get into flow states. It's when they're highly creative and they make great decisions in a flow state. Unfortunately, many businesses don't understand these principles, and so I'm always focusing on getting people into positive emotions. Music can do that. Having some connection or relationship with nature does that. When you walk in nature, walk through forests, walk up big mountains, or are you next to waterfalls and so on and so forth, you can experience these states. In these states, you're more and more creative, and the more likely to make great decisions about your business and about your life. And this is what flow is all about. Often artists experience this, and they do great works of art, and musicians have these experiences and they create great forms of music. And it's something that we should all all learned to try to be able to trigger, you know. I often get my clients to create a relationship with beautiful things. Nature and music, performing arts are kind of a window to getting into this flow state experience.